Galimera. Good morning. And after a night last night of England beating Denmark, which I've got to be honest, it was a bit of a knife edge at certain points during the game. I am here. Can't say it was over last night because, to be honest, I wasn't drinking last night. Jane and I were out in Magdalena's last night, and I have some great news coming about what is going to be happening soon. And I will reveal that in just a short while. But anyway, just a quick look at the weather before I do that. Nice blue skies this morning. Temperature today is going to be 34. According to Amanda, Ginge, she says it's going to feel like 37. I've got to be honest, yesterday, Jane and I were up in Sillavi, and by God, it was hot. I was looking at the thermometer on my bike as we were coming back. And at about 5:30 in the evening, 5:45, it was still 36 degrees Celsius, according to my bike thermometer. So again, we're still having a heat wave. We've still got fires going on over parts of Greece. So once again, just be very careful with your fires, with your cigarette ends, with your barbecues. Do not inadvertently cause any fires, all right, as everywhere is still a tinderbox at the moment. Right, let's have a quick look at the news for today. I've got to be honest, there's been a lot going on within the last 24 hours here on Zakynthos and across the country. First of all, let's just see who's coming to visit today from other areas. First of all, arrivals today, we've got two flights from Austria, one from Poland, one from Italy, one from Switzerland, one from Thessaloniki. That always makes me smile a bit. We also have one from Athens, one from Hungary, two from Brussels, and guess what? We have a Liverpool EasyJet in today. Jane's actually meeting that flight as part of her duties. Just to let you know that the flight yesterday from Bristol, not many people on that flight at all from Bristol yesterday, according to Jane when she was at the airport. In fact, the flight wasn't very full at all in comparison to the two earlier flights we've had in the week here to the island. However, I must admit the local press are saying we're glad of the Brits that come, better some, better later than never. So again, our flights from the UK are still coming with, shall we say, drips and drabs at the moment. When it comes to the infection rate at the moment, that is not looking very good at the moment. Infection rate is up again. You might remember the other day I reported 1,797 cases. Well, that has now risen up by another 1,820 new infections across the country. 6 new cases were identified at checks into the country, which was down on the 8 of the previous day. Now, according to the national stats yesterday, there were 12 new cases in Corfu. There was no cases in the prefecture of Kefalonia. We've had no new cases reported here in Zakynthos. So at the moment, for the month of July, we've only had 1 case of the virus here on the island. When it comes to deaths, that is up ever so slightly as well. I did report the other day 8 new deaths. Today, 9 new deaths have been reported across the country. Once again, our condolences to those people affected. That brings the death total since the pandemic started to 12,763. Now, when it comes to the ICUs, the numbers in the ICUs are still dropping, which is a very, very positive thing indeed, despite all the hoo-ha over the Delta variant of the virus. At the moment, I reported to you yesterday, there was 168 cases in ICUs across the country. That number has dropped again, this time down to 159 critical cases in hospitals across the country. 109 of those are male and 50 of those are female. Once again, the average age of those people, 67 years of age, 83% of them have an underlying health issue or are over the age of 70. Today's news then. Now, due to the growing concerns regarding the spread of more infectious strains of the coronavirus, especially in the young age groups, the Greek government announced that all clubs, bars and other entertainment venues are required as of today, I did mention this yesterday, from the 8th of July to exclusively operate within the seated customers and the capacity numbers within the government's maximum regulations. Now, that is going to start to be implemented as of today. Now, any contravention of those rules will result in fines of between 2,000 and 5,000 euros for a first offence, and 10,000 euros plus a closure for 15 days for any repeated offences. So they looks like they're going to be very, very draconian on this. Meanwhile, believe it or not, intensive inspections were carried out on the Ionian Islands by special teams for the implementation of the measures to prevent the limit of the spread of coronavirus. Now, in the early hours of Wednesday morning in Laguna, 2 violations were confirmed in cafes and bars for customers being served indoors. An administrative fine of 5,000 euros was imposed for each case. Anyway, there were also 3 violations in Corfu for the non-use of masks by people working inside, for which they were fined 300 euros respectively. So once again, just be aware, it has been said that they're going to be out and about trying to book people, catch people out with these new rules. I know a lot of bar owners are kind of not happy about this because, again, what they're saying, it's going to be really difficult to implement this, stop people moving about, stop people dancing, and also keep people sat in their seats at the moment as well. So you can go into a bar, you can sit down, but you can't move about. You must wait for the staff to come to you. Things last night, to be honest, in Magdalena just felt very, very normal in some respects. The fact that we aren't able to use the inside at the moment, but outside on the front terrace, yeah, it was like a normal time in the season. And to be honest, we were pretty busy last night as well. I've got to be honest, not as busy we'd normally expect to be, especially with an England game on, but we were still respectable last night as well. Okay, interestingly, the Deputy Minister for Civil Protection has denied a report that appeared in the Efimerida Syntakton, which is a online newspaper here, claiming that they had allowed the Turkish basketball delegation to bypass coronavirus safety protocols when entering the country last October, not these last few days. Anyway, in an announcement on Wednesday, Nikos Hadriadis said that neither he nor any of his colleagues at the Civil Protection Agency had knowledge that 4 members of the delegation accompanying the Fenerbahce basketball team into Greece for the EuroLeague match were allowed into the country, even though they had possible symptoms of COVID-19. He noted that the team arrived on a special charter flight and was subjected to all the required checks for entry into Greece in accordance with the EuroLeague and FBIA protocols. These, he added, did not include a temperature check. Anyway, his agency's only involvement, he said, was to allow the flight from Turkey during the travel ban. Hadriadis also filed a lawsuit against the newspaper and asked for a judicial investigation to be conducted into the prominence of the report, calling on the writers and Efimerida Tom Zakynthos, the editor-in-chief, to provide evidence backing the claims. So there you go. We've been talking about what's been going on with the football, people being allowed to travel. It was amazing watching that game last night. 63,000 people in that stadium. I saw masks being worn, I think a couple of times, but maybe by FIFA officials that were there at the game. But everybody else, it was just like a normal match, all right? There was a few gaps in the seats, but it was like, why can't it be like this all the time? You know, we're having this big football match on. We know there's a lot of money involved with this. But again, at the end of the day, it just seemed ludicrous that you could have 63,000 people in a stadium, but you can't have a kids' sports day, you know, in your local park. It's the ludicrousy of everything that's going on at the moment, which I think is really getting to people as well. And Brian Cardle says, it's coming home, Ginge. Good morning. Thank you, Brian, for that. Oh, and thank you for your little messages as well and your little bit of news that you passed me as well. Anyway, another serious case which doesn't put Zakynthos in a very good light at the moment. A very serious case is being investigated by the Cybercrime Prosecution Unit and was formed against a 36-year-old firefighter from Zakynthos for child pornography as well as 2 other individuals. Now, according to the information in the local press today, they were identified in Greece and were in possession of large number of files with shocking content of child pornography. Now, the data was brought to the attention of the Athens prosecutor, and a relevant committee was issued to remove the confidentiality of communication. So they've obviously lifted a ban and obviously made this public. While after the correspondence with the internet services providers, the details of the persons involved were identified and their whereabouts were revealed. Now, it seems teams of police officers from the Cybercrime Prosecution Directorate searched the homes of those individuals involved, and they were found and confiscated the following: 7 hard drives, 1 laptop, 2 mobile phones, a tablet and a storage card, one of the little micro SDs, and an on-the-spot digital search for digital evidence identified their involvement, and a number of child pornography files were also identified as well. Now, the digital evidence will be sent to the Directorate of Criminology Investigations for further laboratory examination. The firefighter who was arrested with the case against him was taken to the prosecutor and referred to an investigator, while the regular procedural files that were formed were submitted to the prosecutor's office. Now, you may remember I did report this on the 30th of June. A young man of Zakynthos origin, he was taken before the prosecutor. He was arrested by a unit of the Cybercrime Prosecution Directorate and located here on Zakynthos, and was prosecuted for child pornography. This was part of an ongoing investigation. It has not been reported if the case of the firefighter is connected with the other young man that was arrested on the 30th of June. So anyway, we'll keep our ears to the ground. Once again, just to warn you, the Cybercrimes Unit, one thing I've always been impressed about the police Cybercrimes Unit in Greece is how thorough and how good they are. And obviously, if you're somebody who's got that leaning towards child pornography, if you're downloading it, they will find you and they will arrest you. Right. Interestingly, again, to do with Zakynthos, some people will know of these cases here on the island. The disappearance of Giannis Zivas, a bus driver who disappeared in 2009 in Argassi. Also, the disappearance of Savas Yatsenos in June 2010 in Dragaki, and the disappearance of Welshman John Tosel in Argassi in 2019 are 3 cases of disappearance that have occurred in Zakynthos without ever finding any trace of those people or any clue to their whereabouts. Now, there have been other disappearances in the past, but also suspicious deaths that have never convinced the public that they were as innocent as what they were made out to be. Now, question marks are increasing after the latest developments around the crimes that's been going on Zakynthos, and the question is whether there will be a new investigation into all these unsolved cases. Now, from the Ministry of Civil Protection comes information according to which Zakynthos is at the core of investigations using most technologically advanced methods, and that revelations and a new wave of arrests are soon to emerge. Anyway, but one point I'll say that again. But no one is yet able to say anything about these strange disappearances. Were these people in the wrong place at the wrong time, or were they part of a well-organized criminal gang and paid the price with their lives? Public opinion is again interested in these cases, and they are awaiting more answers. And also, I would think the families of the victims are also waiting more answers as to what happened. Now, just a quick look back at these cases. John Savas, who was described as a peace-loving tourist bus driver, he disappeared. The words in the report are as if by magic. Now, Savas Zakynthos disappeared somewhere in Dragaki when he was going to meet a friend to go fishing. But he left a very characteristic message to his neighbour, which was, "If I do not come home, let my children know, because something may have happened to me." in the case of Tom Russell, which again was the centre of a lot of media attention, not only here in Zakynthos and in Greece, but also back in the UK. This gentleman went out for a walk while staying in Argassi and was never ever seen again. Despite searches by the authorities here on the island, also a special mountain rescue team was flown in from the UK. They also retraced the steps of Tom, and again never found any trace of him at all. Again, the local press is saying what has happened to them. So again, we'll keep our eyes and ears open on these extraordinary cases. Again, there seems to be a net closing, and according to the information that's being published at the moment, I think there's more to come from these cases and more revelations about what has happened to these people, and also other people that have not yet been named as well. Anyway, meanwhile, our neighbours across in Kefalonia, the alleged arsonist of Kefalonia was arrested by law enforcement authorities, and since last night, the accused of the intentional arson in connection with the latest forest fires in the municipality of Kefalonia, which has burned over 6,000 acres. You may remember that that was the big story over the weekend in Kefalonia. Now, the 34-year-old arrested by for arson by the Department of Arson Crimes, they're called the DAEE. They had gone to the island under the order of the chief of the fire brigade, whose name is Stefanos Koloradis, to investigate the causes of the fire in collaboration with investigators in Argassi and the police department of Kefalonia. Now, according to credible information, the investigation authorities had been targeting this 34-year-old for the last 2 years and gathering information about his activities while monitoring him from time to time. He was characterized as a person with delinquent behaviour and had been accused of various offences in the past. Now, the competent prosecutor's office was informed about the results of the investigation by the fire department, which will decide on the continuation after a study of the case file has been formed against the 34-year-old. So what they're saying, basically, their investigations are still ongoing. However, the man has been arrested on suspicion of arson, and obviously there will be more information to come as they gather their case. And finally, a bit of happy news, all right? World famous celebrities like Robbie Williams and Nicole Scherzinger have been spotted on the Greek island of Mykonos. Yes, the island has been a staple for celebrities over the years, with its classic whitewashed buildings with blue roofs, and has been the location for star-studded Instagram posts for quite some time. Anyway, believe it or not, Robbie Williams was spotted in a Mykonos bar. Williams, as we know, most successful British singer. He has won loads of awards. Anyway, he was seen supposedly in a bar called Scorpios, which is basically a very upmarket bar. However, he was surrounded by his security, who told patrons they were not to take pictures of him and not to take photos. However, it seems that the Mykonos Live.tv managed to capture pictures of Williams having interactions with a fan. Okay, so again, Robbie's here at the moment. I hope it's not our Dean who's been misidentified as Dean as our Robbie Williams tribute. It'd be interesting. I'd love him to come to Zakynthos. I think Robbie would fit in Zakynthos very nicely. But anyway, he's been seen. Meanwhile, Nicole Scherzinger, she's also been seen in Mykonos as well. The pop singer who you might remember from the Pussycat Dolls and also from X Factor as well. It seems she's chosen Mykonos for the past 5 years as a place to come and unwind. Anyway, she's at the moment on some kind of Mediterranean tour. She stopped off in Portugal, Italy, Greece, and she's now hanging out in Mykonos, although it sounds like she might be doing a little bit of a tour around the island. So maybe she might come and visit us here in Zakynthos. So there you go. One rule for one lot, another rule for another, and we'll see what happens. Right, now, news I have got for you. I was going to tell you this at the beginning, but I thought I'd leave this to the end of my broadcast. Just to let you know, this is provisionally at the moment. I was with Dennis last night at Magdalena's, and it looks like that I will be going back to work at Magdalena's provisionally for next Thursday, which is the 15th of July. Now, not 100% sure how this is all going to work out, because don't forget, at the moment we still have restrictions here in Zakynthos as to the use of indoor locations, but it is planned that I will return to basically DJing back in Magdalena's on the 15th of July. We're also provisionally planning that there will be some form of entertainment as well on that night. I'm not going to say any more on that at the moment, because obviously that is still yet to be finalised and still yet to be sorted. As for tonight, I am going to be doing a reverse broadcast into Magdalena's. I have been doing. Once again, to all those people who were hoping that I was going to appear yesterday evening doing the reverse broadcast, I did put a message out saying that the football, I'm afraid, had taken priority. So obviously that's the reason we didn't have a broadcast, because obviously we had football on in the venue. But anyway, tonight we're going to do a reverse broadcast. This will probably be the final reverse broadcast because, as I said, it is planned for me to go back to work from the 15th of July back in Magdalena's every night, 7 nights a week from there on in. Again, more details will follow, but again, it's a step in the right direction. There is a lot of things to sort out, not apart from equipment and kit, but it's just the legalities and where we stand, etc., etc. So maybe by the end of the week we'll have a little bit more of a clearer idea as to what is going on in regards using the inside of venues. Once again, just to remind you, we'll be under restrictions where you must remain seated. There'll be no dancing, no moving about inside the venue, and people will have to come to you to serve you while you're in there. So it's going to be very much similar to last year, actually, to be quite honest. But we'll wait and see. But at least, as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting back to work, and that is the main thing. So let's have a quick look at any messages that have come in. Billy Hester is there. Jeanette Fowler is also tuning in. Tim Troon is there as well. Jack Armour. I think Heather Nash says, good morning from a sunny Birmingham. Maureen Elves is also watching as well. I'm really sorry, Maureen. We can't get round to you this evening. We were hoping to. Jane is back to work at the moment. Jane's got a busy day, meeting flights and also running a turtle trip as well. There's a lot going on with her at work at the moment. Just, you know what, you can feel this slow ramping up of stuff that we all have to do. Michaela Taylor is looking in as well. Nice to have you as well. Lindsay Lamb is watching as well. But other than that, I'm going to go now because I've got a lot to do today. Once again, just to remind you, I will be broadcasting tonight, doing a reverse broadcast into Magdalena's. Come and join me. 7 o'clock your time in the UK, 9 o'clock my time here. Any requests, dedications, tunes or music you want, just let me know. I will play them for you throughout the show. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. Final broadcast from Studio One. And then it'll all be taking off, hopefully, next week over there in Magdalena's. And it will be coming to you live from there instead, all right? So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. You have a great day. I'm going to keep my ear close to the ground. And if I hear of anything, I'll let you know. You take care and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.